Okay, we are ready to get started. If everybody can have a seat. All the delegates. Oh, you shouldn't have given me this. Okay, thank you everybody for attending. Thank you to the board members. Thank you to the staff of the administration, the delegates, and for the members that are sitting out there. And let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Of the United States of America. Okay, first thing on the agenda, we didn't have a delegate assembly meeting in April because of the election, so we're going to do the approval for the March 2nd delegate assembly meeting. Can I get a first on that approval? And anybody want a second? Okay, very good. Okay, we have a speaker today. Sherry Flynn, our city council member representative, and I don't see her, so maybe she'll be coming in later. We also will be having our planning and compliance manager, Antonisla. Is she here?
Not yet.
Okay, moving on, we'll take our report from Jason, who is still our recreation department. Pardon me? Yeah.
Who was the first and second on that?
Linda and Linda. Will you be given the report for the rec? Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just taking minutes as well. Drop the mic. Good afternoon, everyone, and this mic is green, but it doesn't look like it is on.
Jason, I'll be glad to do the voiceover for you. Just move the lips and I'll do the talking.
Check, check.
On Chris for joking around.
There it, check, check. It looks like it says 18. You're good. Check, check. Mic check. No? Okay. Check, check. I'll go with this mic for right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Couple things. Biggest thing that I would like to announce is we did hire a new recreation director. Yeah. His name is Dario Puig. So Dario, last name Puig, P-U-I-G, just like the baseball player. No relation, I don't think. So if you're looking for some Dodger tickets, probably not the right tree to bark up. So Dario, D-A-R-I-O, Puig, P-U-I-G. He will be starting Tuesday, May 9th, so this coming Tuesday. I will be taking him around to all the clubhouses and showing him his domain. So if you do see us out and about, please stop, introduce yourself. Really excited for that. Comes with a lot of experience as far as event planning. So really looking forward to getting him in here and getting some activities for you guys. Speaking of activities, May is full of them. We have, of course, the garage sales. And sorry, my memory is messing with me here. Garage sales are 6th, 13th, and 20th. Those districts that are involved with that, please look on the website or at the front desk here. There is a list of which districts take part in which weekend. Remember, you can have your stuff out that morning, and it's got to be put away that evening. You are allowed to park your vehicles in the street or the driveway for Friday night, so that you can go ahead and get your stuff out first thing early in the morning. Okay. Any questions on that so far? Okay. We have community shredding May 19th, so now that tax season is over, We'll have the shredding truck here in the parking lot, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the 19th. That's Friday, May 19th. That is $5 for a banker-sized box. So that's roughly 24, 25 by 12 by 12 or so. Just make sure that you don't bring a big tote, that's 5 feet long by 3 feet long or so. But it is $5 a box, which, as those of you that take part in it before know, it's very easy. It's almost like a drive-through event. You come there and pretty much even the guys will just grab it out of your car for you and dump it, and away you go. So event for our residents here really beats you having to go outside and pay by the pound or pay per weight to shred your papers. Now with events like concerts, we have the Neil Diamond Experience concert on May 12th. Right now we are sitting about 300 seats sold. We have room for another 150 to 200. So if you want your ticket, make sure you stop by the front desk and purchase that ticket. They're $20 a piece. I think David Sherry, Neil Diamond, the last time he was here was about 2018. So really excited to have him back. And then the 26th of May, we have Motown. That is sold out. It is table seating. We have full at 27 tables at 8 apiece, so we're right about 217 people is what we sold out at. Remember, with that, you can purchase an appetizer buffet. An appetizer buffet. For, I believe it's $13 plus tax and gratuity. So that can be purchased from the hostess desk if you have purchased a ticket for the show. If you have not purchased a ticket for the show, you are unable to purchase an appetizer buffet. So again, that concert is sold out. If you are wanting to go to it, always call. We can put your name on a list, see if anybody drops out. It happens time to time. So with that, that kind of rounds out our May events. Again, the most exciting thing is that I bring you a new recreation director. So any questions on anything recreation-wise? Going once? Yes.
On the 2023 list for recreation events, we had something on the list for the blood drive. Was that canceled?
Yeah, I did not confirm with them. I am working to get a new date. So once I have that new date for the blood drive, we will put out there. I also just got an email about booster shots for COVID and all that stuff. That's something that everybody's still interested in. To get a date here, I'll be working on that with the county. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
With the Cinco de Mayo coming out on Friday, considering the weather, is that going to be moved indoors?
No.
No?
The reason being is in this room here, we have a chorale concert. So I don't think they'd appreciate it too much if we take our Cinco de Mayo event into the ballroom while they're having their show. But what we are going to do is the restaurant has set up 2 different buffets. Out on the veranda is going to be one, and then in the restaurant is going to be one. So if you want to come inside, if it's cold, we'll have the sand wedge for overflow, the restaurant and the lounge for seating, but the veranda will also have the buffet and seating out there.
Okay, thank you.
And the weather looks to be good. It might be a little chilly tomorrow. We do have the heaters all outside.
59 degrees, yeah, that's a little chilly.
Yeah, but I think the rain will subside, so I think we'll at least be good there. Just bring a warm coat and drink, and that'll warm you up. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Jason. Okay. Next one would be a report from our food and beverage. Joan, would that be you? Or okay, there's Thomas. Okay.
I will. Good afternoon, everyone. May the 4th be with you today. Lots of things happening in the department, and just a little recap. As we know, lots of events are coming our way and being planned, and again, we're doing our very best to accommodate everyone in whatever venue we have available, whether it's the ballroom, the sand wedge, now that the sand wedge is reopened. and also the restaurant, depending on the day of the week, of course, and of course Sundays, whatever works, we're doing the best that we can, and then of course using our veranda now. So we're thankful for that. We're seeing, Chris, I'm sorry.
Oh, that is not, your screen is, there we go. Okay, here we go. So it will be a combination of both Thomas and myself. So first, Thomas is going to go with some of the events that he was just about to talk about, and then we'll all follow up. So let's go to second slide. There we go.
So music on the veranda has come back. It is the first Wednesday of each month. It started yesterday. The veranda has officially opened. We wish, of course, the weather was a little warmer, but you know what? We got by. We did have a pretty good turnout last night for the veranda, and of course, bar and lounge, and we're grateful that that's going to be going again. And again, remember, we are working on some music. When we don't have the first Wednesday, obviously, when we don't, because music's only once a month, so what do we do the rest of the days? Well, we are working on that right now, and there will be some kind of piped-in background, some kind of music playing, so we have something going on, so it's not just, still waters there. So we are working on that, and I hope to have it very soon in place. But we are excited to have the veranda and opened again, and we will do our very best to serve everybody. Again, the music, now the live music will move to the veranda. Again, weather permitting, if we see the weather is inclement and we have the option to use the ballroom, then we will move things back inside. Unfortunately, of course, as you know, tomorrow we don't have that option because the ballroom is taken for the weekend. So we're going to have to do our very best, but we will. The music will always be out on the veranda on Fridays and Saturdays from 6:30 to 9:30. Again, Cinco de Mayo tomorrow, 2 buffets. We have pre-sold many tickets. We're almost pushing 300. But the beauty of it is that they will be divided between the restaurant and the veranda. So there are 2 buffets where they can go, and it will alleviate the lines, and they will be very well stocked. We have plenty of staff doing that. So, and we will open the sandwich for overflow as well if we need to for tomorrow. Mother's Day brunch is on its way. It is a week from this coming Sunday, and we have sold nearly 500 tickets already for that event. So we're very grateful for that, and it promises to be a lovely, lovely day for our mothers. Flowers are being given out to all mothers that day, and Chef Chris promises to put on a beautiful brunch. The lobby bar has opened, I should say officially, last weekend. Again, it is open from 5 to 8 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. We will be serving beer. I'm sorry, yes, my apology. It's Friday and Saturdays from 5 to 8, and we'll be offering beer and wine, and we also are offering a really nice cheese plate for 2 that has assorted cheeses, crackers, some little fruit, strawberries, and grapes, where someone can take it, 2 people can enjoy it together and sit in the library if they choose, or take it out to the veranda if they'd like to do that. So this is starting. This has started, but we just need to get more, obviously, people to know about it. Yes, Linda. Not yet, because again, we have to have a bartender that be able to man the hard liquor. So I'm short right now. We're working on hiring another bartender. So, but the person that I have working it, that's what he can do for now, and that's what we're going to do until we get somebody in place. And then yes, we will expand that.
Any more? Oh, go ahead if there are questions for Thomas.
I'm sorry, it's $9.95 before tax and service charge. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you may have seen also in your lifestyles that there's a new menu that's out. We did an insert of the dinner menu. I want to thank not only Joe, Chef Chris, and Thomas, but also the kind people at the Image Up, which does our Lifestyles magazine, helped with some graphics, and just tidying up the menu. So we have the breakfast menu, lunch menu, dinner menu, lounge menu, happy hour menu, and of course, we've rolled out the banquet menu. And leading into that, as a reminder, lounge hours are expanding to Wednesday and Thursday. Lounge hours are expanding to 9 o'clock on Wednesday and Thursday. So you can continue after your great happy hour, continue and enjoy the evening. And then on Friday and Saturday, we will be moving our closing hours to 11 in the lounge. So you can stay a little bit longer, party, listen, talk, socialize. Again, I think the theme that we've been talking about for the past 3 months is the desire from the community to socialize more. COVID's over, coming out from our hidden bunkers, secret locations with Dick Cheney, and now we're back to seeing each other and enjoying each other's company. As a reminder, we do have banquet services available. Not only Thomas, but Letty is here. She's dedicated banquet coordinator, Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12. So if you don't want to call in, you just want to surprise us and talk about a potential banquet service, Letty will be there to assist you. And a couple of items that Thomas and his team really have been doing. So we often compare, last year to this year, and for the first 4 months of the year, where are we at? And the green bar represents where we are now in 2023, and the blue is what we've done in the past. And you can see that March, we started to turn the corner, and in April, we've continued with the increased income. And I will make sure to provide this on the website, so if the delegates want to see it, it will be on the website, this report. But right now, we're looking year over year for the first 4 months, about 131,000 ahead. We're at 570 total income year to date for January through April, and in 2022, we were at 438,000. Now, if I go to the next slide, let's compare 2017 to 2013. Well, we're falling a little behind. We're not at the 27. And why, you might say, I know Linda Spalding might ask this, Chris, why are you using 2017? But 2017 I think, was the last good year that we had. 2018, there was things going on, change in the community, change of management, that kind of disrupted. 2019, then COVID, disruptive. So we go all the way back, and I've talked to the Finance Advisory Committee about looking back at 2017 as the last good year to base numbers on. And so when you look at that, we're behind for the first 4 months of 2023 compared to 2027. Now we're behind about $53,480. And so, again, we've improved year over year, but in sales, we're still behind our benchmark of 2017. And with that, that completes our presentation to the delegates. Thank you.
And also, may I add, just a reminder also that we will continue with our Sunday brunch the last Sunday of each month. Sometimes people wonder, well, if they're doing the Mother's Day, are they still going to have the regular Sunday brunch? Yes, we are. That falls on Memorial Weekend this year. So we will do our normal Sunday brunch in the restaurant. Reservations, as always. It has proved to be successful, and a lot of people are enjoying it and embracing it. So just a reminder that we will continue with that. And then moving forward into June, again, Father's Day brunch will be coming, Charity Week, lots of things coming our way. But we just want to say thank you. We appreciate all the support from the delegates and from all the committees and everyone supporting the restaurant and lounge. And with that, thank you again. Questions? Sorry, Linda?
If you have a question, use the microphone.
Well, I just want to say thank you for all of the wonderful upgrades, the food that's coming back. The menus are gorgeous, except for speaking as a low vision person, the pictures are so big and the font is so small. And I really wish you'd take that into consideration for the next time you upgrade a menu, because some of us can't read it. As a matter of fact, a couple of us have donated magnifiers at the desk of the hostess so that people can use them if they need them. The lounge menu is especially worrisome because it's a dark background with very light writing, and it's very, very difficult to read. Please take that into consideration when you redo the menus.
We will do that. Thank you. Sandwich has been open for a few weeks now. Mhm.
So Sandwich
But again, just
opened
eight-
April
8 to
19th.
8 a.m.
8 to 11, correct.
8 to 11, that's it.
That's Tuesday through Saturday.
Lunch rolls back into the restaurant, and then we use the sandwich for events. Okay? Anyone else? All right, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas.
And Ed Tanisla should be here.
Next up is David Keeley with the Charitable Trust.
Greetings to the Delegate Assembly. We appreciate the chance to be here to report to you and work with you again, and to Master Board, staff, and you who are watching on Channel 97, and the residents who are here in the room. I want to start off mentioning the mission statement. It's in the brochure that we offered to you recently. We're organized and operated by volunteers exclusively for charitable 501c3 nonprofit purposes to help meet needs in our community in the greater San Gorgonio Pass area. I read that to you. When you hear 501c3, that means we are a California corporation in good standing. We're not a part of the HOA, and that provides protection for the HOA because we're separate and independent and carry the insurance that we need for the events that we do here. So this brochure is in the envelope. You see them in front of you for your district, the exact number of envelopes that you will be delivering this weekend. You'll take these with you today. This is the envelope. Thank you, delegates who came to the stuffing party, as we called it. It was a great event. It worked so well. I think it was 4 or 5 hours last year, and we did it in 3 hours this time, and it was a good environment in the room. I liked it because it kind of points out to me that in our post-COVID era, people are ready to get together and to have a good time. So you're probably noticing that also. So at the end of our meeting today, we want you to take it. This is the 4th, and so people are expecting to receive these. Use your volunteers in your district, your zone captains, and if you don't have zone captains or all of that you need in your district, you're going to realize we really need to get them for times like this. So you that have zone captains, it's going to be easy for you to pass these out. We'd like for them to go out. This is the 4th. We would like for them to go out on the 5th, 6th, and 7th through this weekend. So thank you very much for that. This is something the delegates have done for years and years and years in the past. There's a note in each of them. We want you to return these bags to our house, 1314 Laguna Seca Court, and get them back to us because we're going to need them. And after the program, the official program for Charity Week, it will come to you, and we want you to pick them up at our house in a couple of weeks, and there will be all the advertising and the events of the week, and that'll come out in a couple of weeks. So these need to come back to you. And then the small little cloth bags that we showed you before with the numbers on them, there's only room in those bags for 75 envelopes. So we had to go to the industrial size Ziploc bags, and when you're done in a couple of weeks passing out the programs for Charity Week, that'll be the first full week in June, you're going to get to keep these bags for your district use, passing out your district newsletters and those types of things. So if you have any questions, we're in the phone book. Give us a call. We're easy to find. David and Sharon Keeley, and she will be working with you at the end of this meeting, getting your name or whoever is picking up these for your district. Thank you very much. Do you have questions? Thank you for, one question. So you want us to distribute? You'll be distributing to the homes in your district. The next 3 days, yes. Thank you very much. And it's important because somebody could live across the street from a district and maybe a week later somebody's grumbling because they didn't get there. So let's get them all out this weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Dolores?
Yes.
I just want to say Sherry Flynn just texted and said she had an emergency doctor's appointment and she apologizes
Okay.
for not being here.
Very good, thank you. Next up, we are going to hear from Candace with EPAP.
Good afternoon to all of the delegates, the audience, and Channel 97. I want to start by thanking all of the district delegates that continue to support EPAP by mentioning our need for volunteers in your newsletters. The month of May, we had the highest number of EPAP coordinators check into our monthly radio check-ins, and that was 19 out of the 23. We also currently have 12 districts that have checked in 100% of the time since January. So we are moving forward with getting cooperation and hearing from the coordinators. All of the districts should have enough radios for their MRT groups to participate in the monthly check-ins. If you have an MRT that does not have a radio or needs one, please let us know. They should be checking in with their coordinator every month. Then the coordinators should check in with their companion group leader and notify those companion group leaders that they have heard from their MRTs. Then the companion group leaders check in with the radio communication unit and give a report stating that they have heard from their companion groups and the MRTs in those companion groups. We are looking for zone captain maps. Apparently, way back in the beginning of EPAP, there were actual maps of each zone that each zone captain was responsible for. Somewhere through the years, we've lost those. So if any of your coordinators or any of you have any copies of those maps, we would appreciate getting a copy of them. I have already sent an email out to all the coordinators with the information I just gave you about the MRTs and the radios. We would also like to let you know we have an area of a dead zone in District 8, 6, and 9, and they are a companion group, but they are struggling with volunteers. So in the event that we have a real emergency, and you are one of the districts that butts up next to one of those districts, please be aware that they may need extra help, so reach out to them. We have reactivated the old Facebook page, and you can sign in on Facebook under Sun Lake's EPAP. And Linda Myers-Clabb is also, again this year, offering CPR AED classes. She has one class in May and 2 coming up in June. She's requesting that you contact her directly to sign up for one of her classes, and her phone number is 951-529-9080. And Janice Rice, Dick Heitman, and myself did go to the Banning Expo a few weeks back. We met up with several individuals there. We obtained a lot of good information, which we will be imparting to you over the next few months. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
I'm just noticing in our district delegate handbooks, there is a map that shows our district, and it also, on the back, has the addresses and location. So each delegate should have one in their handbook to turn into you.
That is separate from what I'm asking
Oh, is
for.
it?
What I'm asking for is each zone captain should have a map of just their zone. So if you find any of those, please send them to us. You can email it, give me a call, I'll come pick it up, whatever you can do.
Okay.
Yes.
Candace, we don't have maps for each of our zones, but we do have a roster of all of the addresses for each zone.
Right.
So
I think we also have that. Like I said, this was something that we discussed in a meeting yesterday that was set up when EPAP was originally set up. So through the years, it seems that we no longer have them. So we were thinking if we could duplicate that, it would be nice. If we can't, then we'll move on with what we've got.
Pressing it. Candace, could you show the folks the one I brought you?
Yeah. let
So
me
they
go-
get an idea what it looks like?
Yeah, let me go get it.
Okay, thanks. I brought mine in today. It's quite detailed. It's quite good.
I'll go ahead and pass it around.
Could I get the name of the lady that's doing the CPR classes? I got the number, but not the name.
Linda Myers Clabb, K-L-A-B is the last name. I thought it was K-L-A-B.
No, K-A-L-B.
Am I spelling it wrong? Okay. I apologize. Sorry, Linda. Yeah, so if you call her, she'll set you up for a class. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. Now I see that Antonisla walked in, so we're going to take her first before we move on to Mary Flynn.
Good afternoon, assembled delegates. I apologize for not being here on time, but I was caught on the way over by a resident who had one quick question. So I have many, many words for you, but I think really it's best, rather than me going on a 3,000-word tangent that may or may not apply, remind this impertinent upstart that I am, what specifically am I setting on fire today?
Okay, so one of the things that we brought, Denise, I want to throw that out there, is there have been some concerns. The reason she's here, I talked to Joe Firmino about 2 months ago, because many of the delegates were communicating issues with weeds in the yards, abandoned houses, and what planning compliance was doing about that, as well as a complaint I've received from numerous delegates regarding the parking on the street and the driveway. And so if there's nothing more, I wanted to give Etanisla an opportunity to speak to you about how we handle the driving on the parking on the driveway, the caregiver status, and then how the team is going about with the citations for the weeds and the abandoned properties. Unless there's something else the delegates have.
Okay, so it's a 10,000-word explanation, okay. So let's address the largest and the most visible problem, the weeds. The weeds, the dirt lots, the yellowing grass, the patchy grass, the yards with dead trees, the yards with no trees. All of these were originally hands-off for the association as a result of Governor Newsom's drought order. That drought order prevented the association from chasing any violation that required water to fix. It was also rescinded in the middle of March. So since then, my department has been writing up those addresses that are enforceable. So lots that have no grass, low grass, rocked out without approval from the architectural committee, dead trees, removed trees, anything that requires water to fix is back on my schedule. Some homeowners have been quick to turn the water back on when we showed them proof of the orders rescinding. Some homeowners not so much, and some properties have been abandoned. So our timeline for those homes that are not abandoned remains the same violation schedule. They get a first written notice, 14 days to fix or submit an application, then a second notice, 14 days to fix, And then after that, it is a hearing before the Master Architectural Committee where they get to explain to 5 of their peers why they won't turn the water back on. For those properties that are abandoned, it has been a slightly different take. My department still has to send a violation notice to the last homeowner of record. However, if we get proof back, usually the post office will let us know that good morning, that this property is vacant, is not attended, does not have a homeowner on record. For those properties, with the assistance of the board of directors, we now have a fast track method to get those properties under control, but it does come with a price tag. If it gets to the point that the association steps in and does work on behalf of the homeowner, present or not, the cost of that work gets assigned to the property that we're doing the work at. So the bill's going to get paid. It just might take a month or two after the work is done for it to get paid, but we're not going to do this for free. So if your neighbor is hoping that if they let the yard get bad enough that the association will step in and take care of it for them, I hope they're prepared for the sticker shock on their next month's assessment, because we will bill them for the work.
So there's a house on Riviera that the weeds are like up past the windows.
The house, that yard actually swallows me. Because reasons, and this one actually did not fall under the abandoned property. It will soon. And when it does, I will be bringing it before the board to address, to have the yard taken care of, and the cost of that work placed on the property's assessment account.
Okay, thank you.
Your second, he said.
The enforcement of the code.
Yes.
Now, is this still a complaint-driven, or do we have somebody driving around checking things?
So the question is, are the properties being brought to Planning Compliance's attention by neighbor complaints or by regular checks? And the answer is both. I have 2 roving inspectors that are 1/3 in the office and 2/3 out of the office. So if they see a problem, they write it up. But at the same time, I only have 2 inspectors. So if there's a yard that's just getting on your last nerve, please, by all means, drop me an email. And I will admit this to everyone, so I don't mind if I'm being recorded. I'm the hardest person to get hold of by phone. You will not catch me by phone. You will catch me by email. So if you want to take a picture, email it to me in my department, send me an email, drop off something in writing at the front desk. If there's a property that you feel needs to be put at the top of our attention list, but we do have roving checks. We are doing the systematic inspections where we go district by district. It's just with a lot less fanfare than we did in the past, but we do both.
Oh, you want to go for it? Okay. You had mentioned that you have to send notices out.
Yes.
To the last record owner.
Yes.
What if we all know they've passed away, so you're not going to get a hold of them?
If we know, and by we I mean the association.
Okay, but if someone in my district and myself know for a fact they are deceased, and we tell you that's not good enough?
If it has brought to the association's attention, let us know at the front desk.
Okay.
Let me know, and I'll forward it to the front desk. Now, the one burden of proof I do have to have, I need to be able to find their obituary online. So, because I know you have the best of intentions. Unfortunately, I have had people try to tell me, oh, so-and-so passed, and they haven't.
But even that,
I would never do that.
If the County of Riverside records show that that person still is owner, I still have to send first-class mail notice that there's a hearing. They don't have to show up. The board can vote in the absence, but I still have to go through the due process. And that for your district, there's one in particular that I have to go send a letter out. It's not going to make it, but they're still the registered owner. That's the process to the civil code.
Thank you.
Can we talk about cars in the road and driveway?
I'd like to thank you very, very much for the action that you took regarding such a homeowner in our district, District 9. However, the problem is that somebody's gardener took it upon themselves to cut them, these that were covering the windows, down to the bottom. And we need to request that homeowners not ask their gardeners to do that, because it stops the process as far as code enforcement is concerned.
So I want to answer that in generalities, and then I'm going to be rude and jump over to caregivers. But in that particular situation, the only way there would have been a different outcome is if the homeowners had came to us. Okay, in that particular situation. In generality, we tell everyone, I and my team tell everyone, we know the yard is getting on your last nerve. Do not step into that yard. Do not send your gardener, your friend, somebody with 50 bucks and a working lawnmower. Don't send them into that yard, because if they get hurt, if you get hurt, that's on you. We cannot help you. And if they do the job, congratulations, you just bailed out your neighbor. And now they've gotten landscaping for free, and I have to start over. So that's been one of my many repeated TED Talk items. I understand that you want to be helpful to your neighbor. Taking landscaping action for their behalf to get them out of a hole they dug themselves is not it. Now, unfortunately, I have to jump to caregivers because my boss said so. Regarding caregivers, so what that word means to the association and what that word means to most people here in Sun Lakes are two different things. To be a registered caregiver in the eyes of the association, the sponsoring resident has to have a document signed by their physician, faxed from their physician's office back to the administration office, saying that this person is qualified to give the care that this resident needs in the opinion of this specific doctor, of their resident's doctor, and that resident has to register that person with the administration office as their caregiver. That's what it takes to become a registered caregiver in the eyes of the association. You notice nowhere did I say they have to pass a nursing test, they have to have a medical course, they have to have certification, they have to have proof that they've passed a CPR class. We don't ask for that. The only thing we ask for is written proof. This person's doctor said this person can give care. That's what it takes to become a registered caregiver. It is not one and done. It is a yearly confirmation. Now, a registered caregiver can live in the property with their resident. They can be younger than 45. Once registered, they can enjoy the same resident rights as a person of age in the community until they turn 45. The registered caregiver process is how a person who is providing care but is under the age of 45 can reside in the community with the person they're giving care to. Once they turn 45, they don't need that doctor's exemption. They are of age to reside in the community without anyone's permission other than the homeowner. So we do have folks who are aging out, who are approaching 45 years of age. We do send them written notice in advance. Your renewal will not be accepted. You will be converted to either guest or non-owner occupant, depending on the word of the homeowner, and your caregiver status will be downgraded to guest or non-owner occupant as appropriate. And this is where we start getting into How is that person's truck in the driveway every night, and I know they're not of age to live here? I cannot tell you if that particular house, if that particular truck, and that particular homeowner is a registered caregiver. I can tell you that if they have a blue sticker on the vehicle, they are properly registered with the administration office, and unfortunately, your opinion about whether or not is valid, I can't speak to that. Now, we have had a problem of a lot of folks overextending their stay, and one of the things that my department has been doing since March 2nd, which by the way is the 60th day of the year and this matters, is we have been going through parking pass records and auditing homes. We have been looking for those folks who are overextending their stay unduly. And those folks who are, they get written notice from me. Your guest, John and Barbara Doe, have exceeded the 60 overnight guest policy for Sun Lakes and have been reduced to entry only. We will never block your friends from coming into the community. It's up to you to decide who you want to let in. So your friends can still come in every day of the year, but if they are a guest and they have hit that 60-night limit and my department sees that, we're going to put a block in so that they cannot get any further overnight passes. Securitas goes through the community between midnight and 6 a.m., and they're looking at passes. They're looking at dashboards. I get a lot of angry calls and emails from folks who feel it's an invasion of privacy that the patrol officer got out of their vehicle, walked to the front of their car, and took a picture of the front of their car that doesn't show a pass in it. I'm sorry, but this is the way the rules are. This is our job. Securitas is going to look for a valid pass. If they don't see one, they're going to take that picture, they're going to write an incident report, they're going to send it to me in my department, and the sponsoring homeowner is going to get a letter. There's been a lot of folks. I might get hit by a brick, so if something flies across the screen, don't worry about it. In my observation, personal opinion, as the pandemic has started to ease, there's been a lot of folks who have expressed their exuberance for life a little too exuberantly. And this has been most expressed in a violation of the governing documents. Parking is one of the big ones, where we have cars on the street, in the driveway, there's no pass. They've been getting away with it for 2-3 years because of the lockdowns. Why would we try to enforce it now? We're trying to enforce it now because, one, we're not in lockdowns, and two, we need to get our community safe and keep it safe. So they're just going to have to stay mad with me. I'm sorry, it's my job. This dovetails into caregiver issues because I also see an uptick of family members and friends of residents who live here, and those folks want to help their family, they want to help their friends, they want to help auntie, they want to help papa. Papa fell, cracked his hip, and he can't get around so much, so I'm going to have to be over here 5 nights a week. And 5 nights a week becomes 5 overnights because it's easier to stay until morning than to try and drive back home at 11:50 at night. What do you mean I have a ticket? I'm taking care of Papa. I'm his caregiver. Not without that physician statement. And so here we are back at the beginning. To be a registered caregiver, as in the association's eyes, it takes more than a large heart and strong hands. We do need your sponsoring resident to give a form that we have in the administration office to the doctor, let them sign it, send it back to us. So this is really an Ouroboros of problems where one feeds into the other.
I'm a part-time caregiver. Of course, I live here, and I'm over the age. If I'm just going to someone's house for a couple hours a day and not parking overnight, do I still need to be registered?
So there's 4 answers to that. and I'm going to take them one at a time. So I'm going to answer your question as you presented. You are a registered resident of Sun Lakes.
Yes.
So I'm going to assume, dangerous as that is, that your vehicle has a blue sticker on your windshield.
Yes.
That blue sticker permits you to park on the street, in the driveway, or in the condos in a visitor parking spot up until midnight without a pass. So if you are going to a client's property here in Sun Lakes and you are not staying there past midnight,
Right.
you don't need a pass.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you do have to stay past midnight, even as a registered resident with a registered vehicle, now you're going to get an overnight pass at your client's address, not yours, because you're parked in your client's driveway. And you can get that from any of the manned gates. So from gate 1 or gate 2, an overnight pass for that property. If it's going to be ongoing, please let us know. And that's a private discussion best away from microphones, because that's a personal matter taken care of in the administration office. Now, let's say that Acme Caregiving Agency or a friend is coming over to give care to a person here in Sun Lakes. They're only going to be here from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every night. They still need an entry pass, but only need an entry pass because it's not past midnight. If the non-resident is going to be giving care past midnight, now we need that overnight pass. And this is where, if this person that's coming in is going to be in Sun Lakes, is going to be past midnight more than 60 times between January 1st and December 31st, they need to be a registered caregiver just to avoid problems.
Thank you.
Any last questions? Steak marinade recipes?
The form to become a registered caregiver for Sun Lakes.
So he's asking about what is this form that I keep referencing. The form is called the Physician's Statement. It is available in the Sun Lakes Administration office. We will come to the front desk. I need a physician's statement because reasons. Here's the physician's statement. Now what you're going to do, or the resident that needs the care, they're going to turn it over to their physician or the attendant nurse, because we know how doctors' offices are. The doctor fills it out, and then it is faxed back to us. The fax number is on the form. We do not take walk-ins of this paper. It has to be faxed from the physician's office, because part of our procedure is to vet that it came from a physician's office. So this statement that I keep referring to, this caregiver statement, is called the Physician's Statement, and it is available in the administration office. There's no fee to pick it up and no fee to submit.
So to clarify, if they have all the documentation done, that caregiver's car can then be in a driveway or on the street every night forever. Does not have to be in the garage like the resident's car has to be in the garage.
So the caregiver's privilege, and this is the caregiver's, registered caregiver's only privilege above and beyond regular residency, is that yes, they can get overnight pass from the administration office as long as their caregiver status is valid. Once they age out, or the resident informs us that they no longer require that caregiver's care, their status is revoked. If they age out, become 45, and they are now a non-owner occupant, they do not have that extended overnight parking privilege. It's the same as all other residents.
And the age is 45, not 55?
The cap for a registered caregiver is 45.
And at that point, the car has to be in the garage.
It becomes a regular resident vehicle, and here we are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you keep saying faxed. My doctor emails, so obviously an email is acceptable as well. I'm going to put this in the newsletter, so.
My instructions are fax. I know.
Chris, what do you do about that? That's old technology.
Understood, but right now that is the procedure. That's something that we could look at. But there had to be, the problem before we instituted this fax requirement is that members could walk in, have something signed by, there's a gentleman down at the stop sign on Highland Springs that will sign it for a few dollars. We couldn't prove it. Having the fax come from it proves that it came from the doctor.
And so would an email.
Potentially, and that there are ways to spoof that, but nonetheless, that is something we can look at, because you're right. Technology is changing. Fax machines are going the way of the dodo.
So last call for steak marinade recipes, homemade ice cream recipes. Thank you, my delegates.
Thank you for that wonderful information. If Mary Flynn would like to come up for the Sun Lakes Playhouse.
Thank you all for letting me speak here today, delegates, Channel 97, guests in the audience. I have taken on the responsibility for the Playhouse to do publicity, so I'm still learning how to do my job the best. And I appreciate all the help that you can give us. We as a club are trying to do more with the other performing groups, working together and supporting each other as performing residents here in the community. Our next show that's coming up is a Reader's Theater style show. For some of you that haven't been to our Reader's Theater productions, they are really geared towards our members of the community, our actors, some of which may be having physical difficulties that allow them not to perform on our main stage shows. So we have our main stage shows for the more experienced actors that may need a little bit of help with prompters on the side. Then we have our Reader's Theater productions, and the actors are actually holding the scripts so that they're reading with gusto and excitement. And then we have another avenue for our performers, and that's our Actors Workshop. And these are not main stage shows. We don't charge for our productions for that level. So we have a way for beginners and more experienced, and then our even more challenging productions. We're announcing 3 shows coming up. We've got the Mr. E's Radio Spirit Show. It's a comedy. It's a Reader's Theater style show, and there's some crazy characters in there. I think you'll enjoy seeing Columbo interacting with W.C. Fields and Edith Bunker. So that's a fun show. The next show we're announcing in the fall is called A Bull in the China Shop, and there's 4 elderly ladies that are flirting with a detective gentleman that lives across the street and trying to get him to come to the house where they live by devious means. And then we have, again in February, we've announced that we're doing, that's entertainment again, and this production is going to be based on the musical production, Nonsense. So we'll have a few nuns and priests and rabbis running around on that show. And we're putting a semi-original script together based on the play Nonsense. I'm here today because I have not met all of you before, and I was anxious to do that and ask for your help and support as district delegates, helping us get the word out. So I'm passing out this little flyer
right here with our ticket order form on it. But I'm also hoping that I can email a flyer to you. If you email your newsletters out, we can do it that way inexpensively, or we can talk about making copies that you distribute with the hard copies that you send out. I'm not sure which is the best way for me to do that. So I'm looking forward to your advice and suggestions. So the form that I have here.
Mary, the easiest way is probably going to be email the copy of what you want out to Dolores and Joe, and then they can disperse it out to all the delegates, and then they have the electronic copy.
Okay.
What is the date of your next show?
What's that?
What is the date?
May 27th and 28th is the radio show that we're doing,
Okay.
just coming up in a few weeks.
Okay.
So there's a ticket order form on this side. Also, let me let you know that the Actors Workshop is available for your district dinners to entertain. So we've already developed a show called The Not So Odd Couples, and there's 6 skits in that little show. It lasts about 25 minutes, and we're available to perform at your district dinners. And so I have gotten one request for a Christmas show, so I'm looking for a script for that. There's no cost. We work in my Actors Workshop class starting in June 12th for the next session. I'd invite any of you that want to participate with us to join our club and be part of our group and have fun. Questions?
1 second, Mary. Jason, normally what Joe has the presenter do is just send the flyer to the printer. That way the delegates don't have to worry about including it, and it gets automatically included. I don't know if that's a problem, or you want it sent to Joe or myself.
If the board is in agreement to, I know that the board did say, that they will promote whatever the districts want to as far as printing costs go. This is now a club asking to put something in there, so I mean, if the board is in agreement with it, I know that our costs are still on par with what is budgeted, so we can do that. I would still, if you're going to do that, I would suggest you send it to me, and then I can, since I send the message from the board and the community awareness, I can send it all together, and the EPAP. So send it to me, email it to me, I'll get it over to them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Linda?
After spending 2 days hand delivering a paper just like this for the Chorales concert that's this weekend to 2 different districts, my husband and I went around to several hundred homes. Do you mean to tell me that I can send that flyer to you, Jason, and the board will pay for? Right. But I mean, I'd be glad to do that instead of driving around.
So sorry.
Yeah, you guys, that is going to be the issue. And I knew, let's say, we've never done it for clubs and groups, but now we do that, it's going to open the door to everybody.
Okay.
That's what I was going
I
to say.
take back my comment. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Dolores. So hold off on that one. Let's look at how we can do that. I still think the best bet for this right now is going to be sending it to Dolores and Joe, dispensing it out to the delegates, and having you as a delegate put a little blurb in there. Like I said, it could get very crazy with 100 clubs and groups wanting to put stuff in every month for their events.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to work on for the Performing Arts Group was a newsletter that had chorale, playhouse, follies, all like a quarterly newsletter that went out instead of all of us doing individual works.
But you have 80 clubs, over 80 clubs here, and that is absolutely not.
No, I'm just talking about the
I got it,
performing
but
arts.
there's other clubs here
Sure.
besides you, the very large ones, Garden Club, Happy Cookers, that they don't do that. And you guys also have the Lifestyles, and you have your own front lobby that you guys own out there that you put your posters and stuff in. So that's just my opinion.
Okay.
I got a question. I think it's a great idea.
gonna get out of hand.
And if you limit it to once a year per district, so that the costs remain stable or not over the top. In other words, I have one prime funding source for my district a year. It would be nice to get out my golf tournament like that, as it would be for her.
And Mike, that has been approved. You guys as district delegates, what you want to do for your district has already been approved, that the board said, put it in there, we'll print it. What she's talking about is clubs and groups doing it. That has not been approved. Only you as delegates for your districts has been approved to go out that way.
Excuse me, but I think Mary is referring to the groups that are performing groups. There are not 100
That is
of
correct,
those.
Linda, but that has not been approved by the board. That has
No,
not been
I
approved.
agree.
Yeah.
I
Now,
agree.
the board can approve that and discuss it and approve it, and then we can go that route. But then again, now you just say, now you're segregating the clubs and groups. Now you're saying, well, only if you're a performing group can you do this. I understand, but if you weren't part of the performing group, Linda, you wouldn't like it.
Right, well, I mean, what we have always done is pass them out individually to every single home.
And that you can still do. This route here is you're using the association's funds to do that, compared to you as your group using your funds to do that.
So a decision hasn't been made?
Correct.
Excuse me, are you saying if we're having something that involves our district, like such as a party or something, we can have a separate sheet printed and paid for to put with our newsletter?
That is correct. That's what the board has approved, yes.
Good, thank you.
Yes, Raylene?
Okay, I think I'm done. It sounds like you've got a few things to discuss, so thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mary. I was just sharing with Linda here. I personally am just going to take the top portion of this little flyer and put it in the body of my newsletter rather than using an entire page just for this. And then her phone number is on there and the residents can call her directly. Okay, next one is discussion for evening security, and Jim is going to start with that.
Thank you, Dolores. Good afternoon, everyone. Jim Nickel, District 3. I just wanted to give you an update. Back on the 10th of March, we had 3 homes that had an attempted break-in. Mine was one of them, and there was 2 other additional ones at 10:30 at night. It was a rainy night, and an individual came to the door, a lady fairly well-dressed, and our perpetrator was in the backyard trying to get in the sliding door. So one of the issues on this is that the 3 of us called Securitas, and it went to voicemail that evening. On my 3rd attempt, because I knew someone was at my back door, I called the PD. And actually, they got out in 10 minutes. So they attempted to get into the homes, and the idea was that I opened the door because I thought it was my neighbor next door whose husband falls quite a bit, and I assist them. So she said she wanted to come in the house and use a phone to call her parents. Well, she was 40, had a raincoat on, and so it wasn't deceiving in any sense that way. I've done a lot of research on what's gone on. These individuals have been in the property often over a 2-week period and have been seen by many people. In fact, on the 3rd attempt, the PD did come out, which I found out the next day, and they took the lady into custody, but all it was a trespassing misdemeanor. And we saw the other individual, and he was caught, walked off, but the police were not available. In my newsletter, I let all my residents know that do call the police. Now, on a misdemeanor, they may not respond that well, but I put it as a home invasion burglary, which was the attempt. And I've encouraged a lot of my residents to put 33-inch sticks in their sliding doors. They're 30 years old, and I locked myself out, and I can actually open it by using my hand and pushing it open. So I've helped some people secure that. I also gave a description of the individuals, but we also have advised them, do call the police if you feel threatened or there's an issue. Going back on that, I've done some research with Securitas here just to let you know, I had a large property and I had Securitas. I had 8 members on my security team. So I'm familiar with how they operate. But one of the issues I've found out is that we have 1 patrol agent at night for this size of property, which means covering south, north, the RV lot, and any perimeter and a gate area. My home faces Sun Lakes Boulevard. I have that wall, which is not very low. The perpetrators did not have a vehicle, so they climbed over the wall. And I saw the second individual on the Monday lying outside my wall. And the securities came around and they scared him off. So I'm just saying that I've also found out that that evening, let's say the 11 to 7 shift, they're relieving gate 1 for lunch, gate 2 for lunch, and themselves. And now, in between that, they're checking on cars parked illegally. So the whole thought here is that 1 individual patrolling is not sufficient for 3,200 homes. And I'm recommending that we do take some action on that. Another issue I found out that the telephone lines into that main gate, they're computer generated. They're not a direct line. So it explains why those phones on all 3 of us individuals at that time of night went to voicemail. So if you have interruptions on the line, you have a surge, a download, or an update, it's automatically transferring to voicemail. So that wasn't very efficient. And as I said, thank goodness on the 3rd attempt, I called PD and they responded. The other 2 individuals did not. But I have some security background, so I understand how things work. But I just want to bring that to the attention that perhaps that be corrected. Also, there's a separate room with 18 monitors. And if the supervisor's here, he's watching those in a sense. But when you have 1 person on the gate, at the front gate, he's not monitoring those monitors. So there seems to be a little bit of breach. And perhaps it's something we could look into to secure the property more. All right, thank you. I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. Thank goodness everybody was safe. And I've worked well with Securitas resolving some of these issues. Thank you for your time.
Mark with Operations. Real quick on that statement about the monitors. Those monitors have also been moved inside the gate.
They
so
record.
that individual does have access to the monitors at all times. So
At the gate, but it's in a secondary room.
it is in both rooms.
Jim, it's in the same room.
Yeah, I didn't go in the front room. I was in the back room.
Yeah, it's also in the front room as well.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you, Jim, for all that. The only thing I want to add, and I've said this a lot over the last year, if you are feeling threatened, and I'm talking to the people at home, wherever the camera's at, this is pointing my way as well. If you're feeling threatened, do not call Securitas first. Call 911. I agree there's issues. I agree that we will take them under advisement. But absolutely, if you feel threatened at your home at any time, call everybody. Call 911 first. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, next item on discussion is the caution signs at Riviera and Country Club. And I don't see Mike Bolts here, not you, see Mike, your cousin. He was gonna come in and just mention a little bit about that you guys are working on getting those ordered. And that's not the only area, there's other areas that need to have those.
Yes, the board is looking at the lighted triangle crosswalk signs for the crosswalk at Riviera and Country Club, because that is our most popular crosswalk and a crosswalk where we have had issues with cars coming in and people almost getting hit. Also, we are getting costs on the lighted stop signs. Yeah, the light kits for the stop signs, especially for those new stop signs we have. These will be movable. So as we notice and people say, oh, that people keep running that stop sign, they don't know about it. We can move it over to that one to kind of give it more visibility, and then move it to the next one. We are also looking at larger speed limit signs. The speed limit signs we currently have are very small, not your standard size, and so we are looking at replacing those with your standard size speed limit signs as well.
Okay.
Yes, if I may comment on that, we received a safety assessment plan from Mike Bolts and the Safety Advisory Committee, and we're following their recommendations. We're putting the orders in right now as we speak.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Jason, when you're talking about stop signs, there's a stop sign on Palma Valley at the intersection of Inverness that's half the height of a regular stop sign. And I think one of the reasons people run through that so much is they can't see it. It's so low. So.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is community table in the restaurant. And I talked to Bob and Randy about this last month. And you said you were going to talk to whoever needs to give approval for that. Are we going to be doing that? For the reason I had asked, as a resident in my district, there's a lot of widows, single women that would like to go to the restaurant but don't, because they don't want to sit at a table by themselves. So what is your thought?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Have we tried that before?
We did. Mr. Jafari was the director of food and beverage. The reason it was halted is people did not want to use it because then they would be singled out as being alone and eating by themselves. They did not, the goal was to have camaraderie, there's a community table, so if you're single, sit there, have another one sit there. We had, it wasn't utilized as much. I think, Linda, you were on the board during that time as well. And people did not want to be noticed that they were sitting at the table, the ostracized table, is one comment I got. And so that was, that was, remember, there was, and the board then considered that and halted it.
The thing about a community table is that people who want to sit with other people can sit at that. Just because you're a single widow, you don't have to sit there.
I know, but the goal was that we were pushing this to invite them to sit there.
Right.
It wasn't utilized. So you would go there and it'd be a large empty table.
Right.
And so it's something we can try again, but it did not work in the past. And the board at that time repealed it and said, just let it be. Everyone can sit wherever, don't promote it, just done.
Well, if they're not wanting to come to the restaurant because they don't want to sit by themselves, they're not going to come anyway. So I think it would be a good idea just to try it again. I don't know what everybody else's thoughts is.
Well, my husband and I used to always sit in the community table, welcoming single people to sit there. It's not just for single people. So perhaps if it was, actually there was a very nice sign on it that welcomed anybody to sit there. It worked for a while, but then people stopped using it.
If I might, I would like to say that the community table was in the middle of the dining room.
Yes.
And I think that was a turnoff for a lot of people. And I think if you want to try this, if it could be placed, I mean, not in the corner, because you don't want them to feel punished, but not in the middle of the room. I don't see any reason why not to try it, but not in the middle of the room. And the same people sat there, Linda, every time. You and Denny, and I can name you the 3 other guys. So try not the middle of the room, maybe.
I'll bring it up for discussion at the executive next week, but also I wanted to add, I think maybe with the advent, we've come a lot further with social media in the last couple of years. Maybe we'll be able to get some more participation that way too.
Thank you. I just want to mention that in June we wanted to encourage we have a lot of singles in our district, so we're having a get together, a luncheon on the 24th in the Sandwich, where a lot of our individuals can come and eat and have lunch and get together. So I think if a lot of delegates, we did that, pick a date, have all our people come. The minimum is 20 to use this sandwich, and we're doing that. I'm getting the letter out, my newsletter, and we're collecting. We're subsidizing a little bit of it so it's affordable for the people in our district, but we anticipate perhaps we'll have 40 people. But it's getting them out, getting them together and socializing. So could solve some of that perhaps. Thank you.
Okay, now we are going to hear from our board of directors for any announcements.
Thank you. Yes, we have a few announcements. As mentioned earlier, the interviews were held for the new recreation director. Dario Puig will be starting on May 9th. We're looking forward to that, and I know Jason is. The replacement chairs have been ordered for the ballroom. You're sitting in them right now. And I want to thank Fred Richmond. He was very helpful in getting them ordered and getting an excellent price, because he did that sort of thing for a living with major corporations prior to coming here and retiring. So he saved us like $100 a chair, and we got some really, really nice equipment. The board approved a motion regarding a possible dog park. The motion approved one dog park to be maintained by the dog owners group and contingent upon finding a suitable locations where the neighbors do not object. So we're currently in the process of determining a possible suitable location. So just to let you know. The board approved the replacement of fountains on hole number 9 on the championship and hole number 14 on the executive golf courses. Funding for that comes from the reserve and replacement fund. And the carpet for our ballroom, atrium, hallway, and billiard room has been installed and looks amazing. The billiard room is not complete yet, but will be within the next few weeks after the billiard tournaments are over with.
A couple other things that we've done. The common area landscape maintenance service contract was put out to bid through an RFP process through the Procurement Advisory Committee with administration, and artistic maintenance has been selected again. Their bid came in $300,000 less than the next closest bidder. Listening sessions, the next listening session will be Monday, June 5th at 3:30 p.m. in the Sandwich. The board has appointed the following members to a Marketing Advisory Committee: Greg Voitko, Bonnie Seaver, Michelle Walter, and Dory Gardsky. As we all know, the conversion of the North Tennis Courts has been formally now the North Pickleball Courts, because they're no more temporary. It cannot be converted anymore. So come and check it out. Last weekend there was a ribbon cutting ceremony. There is going to be a tournament held there during Charity Week on June 9th at 8 a.m. It'll be part of the Charity Week process. And the community awareness program will not be held during June due to, there we go, Charity Week events. It won't be the first week. It will be held on June 13th, which is the second Tuesday of the month. The guest speaker will be Chris Grant, referring to fire extinguisher safety training, and Securitas Director Mike Romero and an officer from the Banning PD will be available. That's our basic report, and that is the message from the master board, which will be on the newsletters.
I just have one comment to Bob about the dog park. You said you're looking for an area, and I did mention this to one of the board members. Why not consider using the area that's already in use and fencing it off? Those homeowners that are right there they've already been putting it up with it for years.
The ad hoc dog committee is currently looking for a suitable location. So that still hasn't been determined. I'm not sure what they're referring to, but the ad hoc dog committee will be pursuing a suitable location, and we'll leave it at that for right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that those homeowners were complaining, so please forgive me.
All over. The other thing I wanted to mention is that in reference to the additional security, I did have a meeting with Captain Jeff Horn on Monday, and we're looking into the possibility of hiring some part-time Banning PD officers to have them come patrol. So that would be something that we would have to consider, what the cost would be, what the hours would be, what it would entail. But I think If we wanted to do it, it would vastly improve the security situation here because we would have an officer right there available, 3 or 4 days a week to respond immediately to our concerns. And they have a lot more authority and ability to deal with situations versus Securitas. So I'll keep you informed how that progresses. Yes.
At one of the listening sessions, Jason had mentioned a memorandum of understanding wherein the HOA would have to pay, pay.
That's what I'm referring to right now.
Oh, right.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So it would be not just,
It would be a fee to us. We have to determine
Okay.
what exactly the MOU entails, what they're going to charge us, what services we're going to receive, and do we want to spend that amount of money. So we're looking into it. So we're not ignoring the safety concerns of our community. And then last but not least, there's going to be a major meet and greet, and more than that, he's going to be providing DPSS people and Office on Aging staff will be here. Supervisor Extian Gutierrez is coming here on Friday, May 12th from 1 to 3 o'clock in the main ballroom. So let people know. I don't know if this is going to go out in a newsletter or not, but it's really important because here we have an elected supervisor, county supervisor, coming here, giving out information. He's not seeking our votes. He's been voted in. He won't come up for another 4 years. So he's out here providing information, valuable information for our homeowners. So if you can, make it next Friday to that particular event.
At what time?
1 to 3 o'clock on Friday the 12th.
Can I have a quick question? The new
Sure.
chairs are awesome. Are they also in the north and south clubhouses?
They are not. They're just for in here.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for them? Okay, thank you, Bob and Randy. Administration?
Yes, so for the Star Wars fans, may the 4th be with you today. Moving on, the sandwich is open Tuesday through Saturday. Delegates, let your people know. Breakfast is served Tuesday through Saturday, 8 to 11. The roof is repaired. Come look at the sandwich. Pools are open. Jason forgot to mention that in the recreation update. He's got a lot of stuff on his mind. But remember, there are no active monitors, only frequent visits from either rec staff or community patrol. So behave. Moving on to, please remember to also sign in when using the facility. There's a sign-in sheet. Please sign in. Maintenance updates. We have, again, from the delegates, we've received some information. You heard Ed Tanisla talking about weeds on homes. We also are experiencing that with this lovely weather we're receiving on the golf course, and we are addressing that. We are working on that. Let's see, the fountains at Gate 1, Gate 2 is a popular subject. You've seen that they've been restarted, but some are still having some issues. Mark Schleiden is working on this. The board approved Gate 1 for some equipment. Quotes were received, and the board approved them. Mark is also working on Gate 2. The issue is we're just trying to get several quotes to the board. We want to enable the board that they have an option, not continuing to choose the same one. But as Mark has told the board, and he would tell you, vendors are busy. Vendors may not, and this is one I know Mark has talked about. Vendors will go, where are you at? Sun Lakes, I can't beat that price. I'm not coming out, not going to give you a quote because you don't choose me, don't waste my time. And so we run into issues where we're limited on how many vendors that Mark can get. But he is working on Gate 2 quotes. South Clubhouse dehumidifier was replacement was approved by the board. You might remember it has been ordered, and there's a delivery time August or September of getting that in. The supply chain issues are still real, ladies and gentlemen. Road project, you saw our active board working with the construction management company to evaluate our streets. There was an item on social media that was posted, a picture of the board. They were actually working for you, homeowners, and addressing concerns about cracks that are appearing because, again, a lot of water coming down, cracks are forming. The board asked, please, I'd like to go out with the construction management company AEC and Mark Schleiden and review these areas. Do we need to modify our pavement management plan and address more streets right now because of what has been happening? The contractor went back and is going to be updating the plan, and we'll be bringing that to the board for consideration. Let's see, the pickleball, again, we had some nice, there will be a video on Good Day Sun Lakes, Channel 97. We had Hernan manning a drone, as well as taking videos of just not only us, but of the courts. That will be run on Good Day Sun Lakes, so look forward to that. Bunker project. We're about 95% complete. We're doing cleanup right now and should be playable soon. The cart path redo on the crossroads, 5 and 6 is done, but 7 and 15 are under construction. Unfortunately, with the rain, this has been delayed and the concrete work will be moved to next Tuesday. And with that, that completes my report. Jason, anything? Jason's looking good in his colored shirt. Let's move on.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the delegates' comments, and we'll start with Barbara.
I wanted to mention, you know how people go through stop signs all the time. I walk my dog a lot. I have noticed that artistic maintenance drives their little utility trucks through the stop signs, drinking their Gatorade, not looking for any cross traffic or anything. They just drive right through them with the tractors, the utility. I even watched as a pickup truck came behind the utility truck that I just seen go through, and I turned and made sure that he stopped. He slowed down, but that was it. So maybe somebody should talk to them about it. I also wanted to commend Mark Schleiden because I reported a disposable diaper that had been laying in the rocks by Pebble Beach. And the day that I told him, it was gone. So I think that was wonderful.
One good, one
Loretta, and make sure you give your name and your district. If you're going to talk, your name and your district that you represent, please.
Loretta Kuzar, District 2, and I don't have anything.
Jim Nickel, District 3. We talked earlier about speed bumps. Is that still something being considered for some of these high traffic areas? Chris?
So speed humps or speed bumps, those are being considered. The board will make the final decision on that, and that's something that then would be incorporated with the road work that would happen. As we hit different streets, we'd incorporate that at that time.
I also notice a lot of the stop signs that are painted as you come to an intersection. They're terribly faded. Is that being incorporated when you do a slurry coat?
That's another item that Mark is going to be looking at with the board and getting
terribly
approval.
faded.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you for listening, and thank you everyone for your time and listening to my comments. Thank you so much.
Dave Miller, District 5, no comment.
Jess Ocampo, District 6, no comment.
Raylene Kretschmann, District 7. I got a couple phone calls this week, and I think it's regarding the same subject that was discussed, but people are calling me late at night. Somebody's ringing my doorbell, whether I'm in bed or not, but they call me. I have a Ring doorbell, so I can see that, but they were real scared, so I had to tell them to do 911 again. Just call, but because we face up that back street. But this is clearly an ongoing issue here. And again, I remind them to call 911. I also got some pictures of our district. They took pictures of how it says stop in the road, and you can't see it anymore. And they wanted to know, apparently once we were doing a cycle of streets, resurfacing and fixing them, and we're down on Bay Hill and all of the District 7's streets. What's the status of that, so I can give them an answer? Or
So that's just going to be what Mr. Nichols said. We're going to incorporate that in the road project as they're coming out. There will also hit the streets, but I think you're also going to hit those faded areas of limit lines and everything, so that should be addressed.
And new stop signs?
I
They're
think
so bad. They're faded and, you know.
There are some issues. Mark is looking at stop signs, street signs.
Okay.
There are, and it's just planning them out for the order and the outlay of money.
So, time frame, can I give them? Because they're going to keep calling me, I'm telling you.
What do we say, Mark?
So Tuesday, I'm meeting with a company called Main Street Signs out of Ontario, and the owner, Chuck, will be on site. We're going to look at the LED digital lights that go around the stop signs. We're going to look at stop signs. We're going to look at speed limit signs and everything else under signs. So he will be on site Tuesday. I would guess that I'd have a proposal by Friday, and Chris will share it with the board at his next chance. So soon.
Okay, so it's being
Okay.
looked into pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Mark, at one point, there was discussion about possibly going, on replacements, going with some high visibility stop signs versus the red and white. Is that something you'll be talking to Main Street about?
We're going to look, and Jason will be with me as well. We're going to look at all the latest and greatest of what's out there. Also, years back, probably 3-4 years ago, we looked at changing out street signage, and we had talked about doing, I think it was 6 or 7 districts at a time, and that's something that will probably have to be revisited coming up as well, because they're starting to fade as well. So I'll probably mention to Chuck as well from Main Street Signs, get an updated and a new proposal for that as well, and see how the board wants to go about that. So all signage will be looked at.
Will that also include the stop signs for the golfers coming out onto the street?
Those little cross things.
Where?
All signs.
All signs. Just wanted to make sure we're looking at those. Thanks.
Linda Vieira, District 9, no comment.
Pat Puckett, District 11, I've said enough.
Janice Rice, District 13. I give Chuck from Main Street Signs a big thumbs up. I worked with him for years. No comment.
Judy Taylor, no comment.
Jamie Taylor, District 17 alternate. We're having a fish fry on May 21st, and we still have a lot of seats available for this. Normally, we sell out in our district. All of the proceeds goes to the Make-A-Wish. It's what we use to buy all the children gifts. And so I'd like to open it up to all the districts. I have a flyer here that'll just give you the information about the fish fry. If you want to put a little blurb in your newsletter and invite your residents. The food is fantastic. 2 of my residents put it on, and it's just a great event. So if you don't mind, I'll pass the information around. Thank you. What district was that? District 17. So so I have a resident that, they fish, and it's black sea bass, and it's really good fish. The meal is excellent. It's $15 a person, and we'll host it in the North Clubhouse. It is on the 21st of May at 5 p.m. Thank you.
And that's a well-renowned fish fry, I understand.
It is, and normally it sells out, so not sure what's going on this year, but we thought we'd just open it up to Sun Lakes. And like I said, that, every bit of the money that is paid for the dinner is used for the gifts for the children. Thank you.
Linda?
Linda Spalding, District 19. I just have three items to talk about today. I want to say Pitch Putt Party, that activity that we started in March, the first Tuesday of every month, is doing fantastic. We started off with 40, and this last Tuesday we had over 55 attend. So it's really, really doing well. And I have to close it for June because of Charity Week, and now I'm being begged to keep it open for 4th of July. So I will send out information about that. And what can I do to get it on the golf schedule? Somebody asked if it could be put on the calendar, and I don't know if it's because of club it can't. You can discuss it and let me know.
Well, yeah, let me talk offline, but that would be something maybe that we also include on the food and beverage calendar, because that is the event for the food, but we can talk offline.
And then you were supposed to get me how much money we're adding for food and beverage. I really would like to know what we're contributing, if you could, in your spare time. I have a comment. I've had a few residents that are saying it's taking them 2 to 3 weeks to get their skirt tags and their blue stickers, and I know admin is busy. And someone mentioned, why couldn't the safety committee maybe have a day a week that they could help put those on and take some of the pressure off of admin? Just a comment for you. You talk too much, Chris, so I'm not going to let you.
You go, Linda, you go. Keep rolling.
And then I did talk to Joe after the election, and he reminded me that a few years back we placed an addendum on the CCNRs so that if there was not a quorum, that the chair could sign. If there was not, hold on, if there was not a quorum and the delegate did not show up, that the chair could sign for the ballots. And that's in the CCNRs. Is there a reason why we cannot adjust that addendum so that if a district does not have a chair or a quorum, that the chair cannot sign? I feel really bad that one district's votes did not get counted, and if that addendum was there, then Joe could have signed it, and we don't know what that would have done to the election. But I don't know who has to create that, if that comes from the board.
Could you send a letter to the board on that?
Yes.
Please.
I can do that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Susan Roberts, District 20, alternate.
Cal Martin, District 21, no comment.
Mike Voles, District 22. I have two comments, one directed towards Bob. You mentioned in the board meeting about police and conferring with the police department to, I don't know what, but people are calling me and asking me what the heck's going on. So
what it is we're investigating the possibility of having a part-time law enforcement, Banning PD, come patrol our community. We're looking into that. That's what we're doing.
Okay, and that's as far as you can go right now?
That's where we're at right now. I had a meeting with Jeff Horn, captain from Banning PD. They're looking at numbers and hours and what it would entail, and that's involved in the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. And so to be determined, the real main thing is the cost. Yeah, because we should be getting this anyway because we're taxpayers. You know?
Yeah.
So, well, it remains to be seen what's going to transpire. So tell them right now, the Banning PD does patrol the perimeter for us. Mm-hmm. And once in a while, if they have time, they'll come in here, but not on a regular basis. We want them to.
Okay, and the other's for Mark. Is he still here? Okay, so I live I'm with District 22, and we're in the South Clubhouse a lot, in the pool workout room. And the pool itself gets very nice treatment from Dan, so the swimming area is proper acidic and chlorine and all that. We don't have a complaint about that, but what I hear from people is, and I've seen it on emails or what is that, Facebook a couple times, Dan's doing real good with the chemicals, but who the heck cleans the deck? you know, and takes a general maintenance of that and the workout room. So that's what I'm hearing from my district people.
Okay, great news. We have new staff coming aboard on Monday. So Recreation, the new director, Jason's been fighting to get monitors available. I've got 2 new staff members coming on board Monday. So we will put a plan together. We have been struggling to get things done with the lack of staff, plain and simple.
Thank you.
I just have something I wanted to show our, Dan Cosner, District 23. I wanted to show a little gratitude to our board for the wonderful pickleball complex that we have now. It's one of the state-of-the-art outfits. Anyway, and we have right now 91 paid registered club members. And saying that, we still have over 100 residents playing on those courts. You don't have to be a member of the club to play on the courts. I want to invite anybody to come out. It's the fastest growing senior sporting event in the country right now. So anybody who wants to come out, you don't need to buy any equipment or anything. The club provides balls, and everybody out there is extra paddles. So I just wanted to say thank you to the board for the nice facilities that we have now in the North Clubhouse Sports Complex. And that's it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. Rainey Creshman, District 7. We had the fill the cupboard for this senior center, and my district gave a lot of paper goods, paper towels, toilet paper, napkins, Kleenexes. But when we went down, she said it's very sparse. And she said if there's anything we could do to get more to her, because we do 2 a month, I believe, 2 delegates, districts a month do it. Yeah, she said either they've got a lot more people they're helping or something, but she was very grateful and said if there was anything else we knew of any other groups, please let them know. Yeah, the director. I can't think of her name, sorry. All right, thanks.
Okay, Dolores Doherty, District 4. The only comment I would like to make is our district did our paint and sit party on Sunday, and we had an awesome time. We had some residents from District 12 join us, and we're going to do it again in October, and I believe District 5, excuse me, is going to be joining us, as well as 12, and anybody else that wants to join, you are more than welcome to join us because it's a lot of fun. And now we're going to leave the comments to the members that want to come up and give any comments.
Good afternoon, delegates. Michelle Walter, Community Awareness. Well, Randy and Bob kind of stole my thunder. I was supposed to come up here and say this. Anyway, the Community Awareness Program on June 13th is hosting that fire extinguisher use. So Chris Grant from Ready Hub is coming out, how to make your home safe. It's the fire triangle, types of fires, home smoke alarm basics, exit drills for your home, portable fire extinguishers, fire extinguisher safety, using a fire extinguisher, confinement, and creative resources. So there are, I think everyone has this for your newsletter, so that will be going out to your district, but of people that are out on Channel 97 and they can't see it, please go ahead and pick one of these up. Also, again, County Supervisor Extian Gutierrez is coming out. Please, please make time to come and see him. He's a wonderful man. He's got great ideas for our community, for all of District 5. So come out and meet him. I really want to have a good turnout in the ballroom for him. We have 3,300 homes here, 3,327. I would love for everybody to pack this place, show him that we care, show him that we support him. Again, it's May 12th, Friday from 1 to 3. You're going to hear about, he's going to provide services, how they provide services for the county. Representatives from Riverside County Department of Social Services and Office on Aging will accompany the supervisor. So he's going to have 6 people that are going to be here, and we're going to have them up in front. And yes, they will answer questions, and they will stay afterwards. So please, please come out and meet him. And then for the delegates, I have the welcome home information. Oh, I'm sorry, Lynn, did you want to ask something?
Usually when the newsletter is, we send it to be printed, it comes back with a community awareness flyer. Is that flyer going to be included?
The fire extinguisher one is. Mr. Gutierrez is not. He is already in the Lifestyles magazine.
Okay.
So, but there are flyers out in the lobby, and I have some here at my seat too. So what I do have for the delegates, we are having our welcome home, and I have a flyer for each one of you. This is for you only. This is not to give to your residents. And so it is Thursday, June 15th, here in the main ballroom, from the new homeowners, we want them here at 5 o'clock, and it's going to be from 5 to 5:30. They're going to meet the clubs and groups. At 5:45, we will have the dinner. We will have welcome and introductions. I need to make sure, delegates, please make sure you contact your new homeowners and invite them to our welcome home. These homeowners should be from March, April, and May, and as right now, I have not gotten anything from Manny stating that who the new homeowners are yet. So I know that Cheryl and I would both like to get those, and I hope that the delegates are going to be getting theirs also. So please find out. Any new homeowners that have not been previously invited, please invite them. Please invite them to this one. We will need your list by June 9th with a confirmation. Remember, we still pay for the homeowners. If you invited a new homeowner and they didn't come, we still have to pay their dinner for them. So please make sure that you get as much as a confirmation that you can that they will be attending, and encourage them to attend. So I'm going to go ahead and pass these out, and this is for each one of you. Yes, Janice?
Janice Rice, District, using my voice on this isn't working. This does not include renters, or it does include renters if they are living there and new?
It does. Jason, do you want to answer that question?
Yes, if the tenants. So if it is a new tenant and it is their first time being a tenant here, then yes, they are going to be a part of that.
I don't think are any other questions. This is pretty self-explanatory, but if you can please invite your residents. We're going to have the clubs and groups in here again, and I think it really worked out last time. Jason did a great job of having them all in here, and they were able to see what we have to offer, because a lot of these new residents, some of them still work, and they can only come and participate maybe on the weekends, but it's nice to have them here, and so please invite your residents and encourage them to attend this welcome home. Thank you.
You're right, Michelle, and I think Chris was the biggest draw at the table here right in the middle too. So.
Michelle.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we have another current email addresses and everything that are active? Because I keep sending it and it keeps bouncing to her.
To
so I
Cheryl?
have to send it to you, yeah.
Go ahead and send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, and mine is crystalwater@dc.rr.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Michelle?
Stay there, Michelle.
Yes, maybe I should just stay here.
Are all clubs and groups invited to come and present?
They're going to be selected because we have, if we had 80 of them in here, it'd be overwhelming. So I think we're going to probably try and do maybe 10 to 15 each time, and then have them set up their tables. And it was really nice last time, too. It was very informative. I thought it was great. I know Young at Heart didn't have a table, but that's okay. But Chris, go ahead.
So in partnership with Chris Mitchell, by the way, it's still the general manager. Just kidding. But what we're doing, that's a great question. If we had all the clubs and everything we would be out on the golf course having this event. So what we do is we are rotating it. We are rotating so every group and club will have an opportunity to present. We're doing it like the expos. It's a style of expo where when you do in industry, if you're CPAs, you go to an expo and there's booths and everything, and then you have a lunch. We're doing it similar so that these new homeowners get to see, oh my gosh, there's just more than a beautiful location. There's social groups that are here. There's events that I can participate. So we rotate that around so everyone will get an opportunity if they want. Some tell Michelle, no, I'm not interested, I don't want to do that. That's fine. There'll be another group or club that will want to do it, but we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity.
One last thing that I wanted to mention as the community awareness coordinator, please, please, if you see something and you are concerned, call 911. I can't tell you how the police department has said, call us, we will come out. If you feel threatened, if just somebody's walking by and you're not sure, of course you're going to call Securitas and have them come out and report them. But if you feel threatened, if you see somebody in your backyard, somebody's jumping your fence, please, please call 911. Don't wait and call Securitas because they can't do anything, really. Only the police department can arrest.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Somebody just mentioned to remind the delegates to do their newsletters and get them out to their residents, and please don't forget to post it on the website. And here comes David.
I'm going to quote David Keeley. I'm going to quote our general manager, Christopher Mitchell. This is a beautiful place, and a big reason, as you guys sitting here at the table, I'm so impressed. I come here regularly. I'm going to now talk to Channel 97. If you're not in the room today, you're really missing out. You need to come and be here because you guys really make this a beautiful place, and thank you. So before you leave the room, each of the delegates, come and get your packet of, you can see Sharon Keeley. Come on over now, Sharon, and you can check out with her. We want to know that you got these, and we really appreciate you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Any other members?
I have a question, 2 questions. Is that okay?
Tell them your name.
Okay. Fran Hanratty. And, one comment. Thank you very much for the Health Fair Expo. It was great. I learned a lot. Thank you very much. 2 questions regarding the subject that has been addressed, humps and bumps. Many years back, we had a monitor that would be placed on the street to record the speed, and it would be put on a certain street a period of time. And the second question, what happened to those monitors? Are they still being utilized? Do we still have them, or who do they belong to? And can that be looked into? Thank you.
Great question. So what those are is those were speed monitors for a speed study. You might remember several years ago, that was a big town hall. We got a lot of people coming out for when there was talk about patrol issuing citations. And so a company was hired, and they lay those little strips along, and they can see how many vehicles and the speed, the average speed that they're going. And that was used to identify areas that would be patrolled. They do not belong to the association. That was the company's, and it was used as a study to see what the average speed was in Sun Lakes at that time. So we don't own them. That would be another speed study that we would have to do. But we do know right now that there are people speeding. There are people that are missing the stop signs. And so those are the first step that the safety committee had said is stop signs, speed limit signs, illumination, the limit lines and the letters on the road, and then speed bumps and speed humps in the areas that have the highest reported issues.
Any other members have comments? If not, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for coming.